And I'm Lilia Jones. Thank you so much for joining us today on
The Bold Way, the show where confidence grows and resilience finds its voice. Here we honor the stories of Black students, their victories, their courage, their challenges, and the powerful journeys in between.
Yeah, we talking about in it. Every episode, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of each story we hear. We don't want just results. We want the steps to success. And this is the show where that pulls through.
Guess what, Lilia?
What?
It's our Black History Month episode, and this year we're celebrating a century of Black commemorations.
That's right. Happy Black History Month, y'all. And can you believe it's only been 100 years? Oh. There's so many people to highlight who have been so inspirational. Someone that I have always admired is Chadwick Boseman, because he's not only a Marvel hero, he's the textbook example of what it means to be a light. He fought cancer silently for years, even on the set of Black Panther, and he didn't want to be treated differently, even with his diagnosis.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'd like to give a shout out to the singer-songwriter India Irie, because she shaped me to be the Black woman that I am today.
Yeah.
Through her Black empowerment lyrics, she reminds me that I'm not what I'm perceived to be by looks, but who I am on the inside.
I love India Irie. I remember in elementary school, I did I'm Not My Hair as a poem. Yes, I did win first place.
Yes, she did.
And what about a historical figure that continues to inspire you?
So my favorite historical figure would have to be Christina Jenkins.
Ooh.
No one talks about her, but she's the genius behind the modern sew and weave.
Yeah.
Back in 1951, where she found that gluing and pinning wigs onto scalps were completely damaging.
Yeah.
So she revolutionized Black hair care forever by creating the sew and weave, which is crazy. So what about you?
I love that. Mine would have to be Jesse Owens. He's a track and field legend who won 4 gold medals in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. He challenged Nazi ideology, making him a global icon of anti-racism. So to me, Jesse is a man who's a very beacon of perseverance and endurance.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So stick around, y'all. We'll be back for more discussions on how to be healthy in 2026. While it's our Black History Month episode, we're going to be talking about something that everyone is thinking about stepping into 2026, healthy lifestyles. What it looks like today, how realistic it actually is, and how we're doing it with ourselves in college.
It's definitely something I incorporate into my life, though I recently started going on runs because this year I plan on running a 5K. Ooh. So that's something totally new and interesting because I'm not used to running for a long period of time. I'm more of a sprinter, but as long as I'm getting active, right?
Right. Oh, okay, girl, get active. We love to see it. What are some healthy eating habits or other lifestyle choices that you do?
Okay, so I won't lie. I love eating out just as much as the next person. It's super easy and fast, efficient. And I try to find a good, happy balance between it all. So like when I'm getting wings, I like to get carrots instead of fries. So talk about balance, right, guys? And so what about you? What are some healthy lifestyle choices that you have?
I, however, am really horrible at watching what I eat. Like, I will tear through anything I get my hands on.
Yeah.
But I do try to balance it out with working out.
Yeah.
I'm a Pilates princess.
Yeah.
You can catch me at Solidcore in downtown Austin,
Yeah.
you know? So definitely check them out. So whether you're just counting calories or just counting reps, it's really about finding what works for you. You know? Yeah.
And now, obviously, we are not pros, but we do know a little bit about our own pros and cons when it comes to our bodies and our lives.
That's right. We are not pros, but if we can help shine a little light on a topic, we will do our best to lead you in the right direction. Everything else you'll have to figure out on your own.
Ooh.
Just kidding. But it's very important to consult any medical professional rather than Dr. TikTok.
Yeah, or YouTube University. Especially in the Black and brown communities, we are more likely to have higher rates of chronic conditions and health issues, especially cardiovascular diseases.
Right. Okay, Lilia. I am going to ask you 3 very simple but very important questions to really open this topic up. You down?
Okay, yeah, I'm down, girly pop. Ask away.
Okay. Question 1. How do you manage stress when life gets overwhelming?
Well, I like to write down how I feel. I love not feeling stressed for a long period of time. So that, or I separate myself from a stressful equation.
Good. Next question. What is an activity that boosts your mood instantly?
Yes. I love to sing. And I love to dance, especially when I get to annoy my co-host and my family members while doing it.
And last question, on average, how many hours of sleep do you get at night?
Ooh, y'all aren't gonna judge me right, guys. So I normally get like 4 to 7 hours of sleep on the daily basis.
Ooh.
And I'm just talking about my average. Some days I oversleep, so that's just my average sleep schedule.
Okay. See, those were very easy questions, right?
Well, yes, but I'm not seeing the importance of the questions.
Oh, girl. Mental, emotional, and physical health are all connected.
Ooh.
When sleep suffers, stress increases. And when stress builds up, mood and sleep are affected too.
Wow.
I know that when I'm overwhelmed, especially balancing work and school, sleep is usually the first to go.
Yeah.
And that's why taking care of my mind and my body helps me stay grounded and handle my responsibilities.
Wow, you just not only clocked my tea, but you're also not alone in that. Studies show that insomnia is actually really common among college students. One study found that 26% of college students experience insomnia, and it's even more common among students dealing with depression or ADHD. Students with depression were almost 9 times more likely to struggle with insomnia, and students with ADHD were over 3 times more likely. And speaking of eating, the CDC says only about 1 in 10 adults actually get enough fruits and vegetables daily.
Wow, that's actually crazy. And I believe it because life gets wild and the easiest option always wins when you're tired.
Yeah, and even when you want to do better, it gets confusing. And another survey from the International Food Information Council found that only 22% of adults feel confident they actually understand what healthy eating even means.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can't even blame them because every single week there is a new trend or rule.
Right.
First it's no carbs, then it's carbs only, then
Yeah.
it's protein, everything. Drink this powder, eat this root.
Right.
Like, it's really too much, honestly.
Yeah. For me, I love protein the old-fashioned way, like meat, eggs, beans. Those are my main 3 proteins.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm not perfect with my diet at all. Like, some days I really try. I add fruit, I cook. I mean, I'm intentional.
Yeah.
Other days it's whatever is fast and convenient, and that's real.
Yeah, I mean, same. I think a lot of us feel the pressure to say that we eat fruits and vegetables every single day. Like, if you do, that's amazing. And if you don't, it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means that there's room for improvement, especially for myself.
Yeah. And for me, being better is not about a full reset. It's small changes like adding 1 fruit a day, drinking more water, or choosing 1 balanced meal instead of none.
Right.
So it's more about progress over perfection.
Yeah, and figuring out what actually works for you matters more than following some type of strict diet and strict plan that doesn't even last.
Yeah. Speaking of things that help, movement is huge, and it doesn't even mean being in the gym for hours.
Right.
The American Heart Association says 150 minutes per week of moderate activity can actually lower your risk of all kinds of health issues, and that's literally like 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. And something that I do that, you know, brings out a lot of nostalgia is Just Dance. I know there are a lot of people who just do the arm motions, but if you really get into it, you will start to feel the entire workout. And I know that if you're watching a show or just watching this show and you're just sitting there and try to challenge yourself, stretch, walk in place, or even just move around the room. Something as simple as that can also help with lowering all kinds of risk. And I think it's interesting how gaming has been involved. I mean, it doesn't have to be just sitting there and being on a controller all the time. A lot of games actually start to get you moving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the gaming community has really evolved over time.
Yeah. Oh, I heard that ACC has a gym at the Riverside and Round Rock campuses. So if you ever see me there, y'all should totally come say hi. I really hope that ACC Highland gets a gym one day because I feel like that will really help impact the ACC students.
Yeah. No shade, no shade.
No shade.
And that ties into exercise in general. Not everyone is a gym person. Some people love lifting weights. Others just try to walk more during the day or, hit a step goal.
Right.
Movement doesn't always have to look the same for everyone. Yeah. Motivation is the hardest part, though. How do you stay motivated when all you want to do is run in front of the TV and order food to the house?
Right. I mean, honestly, I think about how much more active I used to be when I was doing sports. And then I think about my future. Like, do I want to be an active mom one day? Do I want to be an active aunt one day? Do I not? And the main thing I try to motivate myself with is I am an aunt to nearly 7 children.
Lord Jesus.
And they look up to me. And I want them to continue to look up to me whenever they need anything.
Yeah.
What about you? What's something that motivates you?
I try to keep it real low pressure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use intervals of time, so I'll say, I'll get on it in 10 minutes.
Right.
Once I start, though, it's easier to keep going. And on the days that I don't, I give myself grace, and try again the next day. And honestly, for 2026, a healthy lifestyle is not just physical.
Right.
It's mental, it's boundaries, rest, and keeping yourself balanced,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is so much we can do to help clear our minds mentally. Like really getting inside of your head, like writing poetry, journaling about your day, stretching, meditating, and listening to music. These are common things in life that we can commonly do to help alleviate our mindsets.
Yeah. So today we're breaking down how all of this connects and how healthy living can actually be realistic and not overwhelming.
Yeah. We're trying to be healthy, not perfect.
Exactly.
Well, guys, we will be right back and stay tuned because we have a former NFL and UT football player here in Studio B who's going to talk more about how he juggles it all and stays healthy and feeling good. We are so excited to have a very special guest today. Fozzy Whittaker is currently an analyst for ESPN, but before that, he was an NFL player and a UT football legend. As an athlete, Fozzy will be able to give a very specific type of insight into health and fitness.
Not only that, in 2010 at UT, he was a kick returner and had the opportunity to play in the BCS National Championship game, and he also ran track and field. In 2012, he joined the NFL playing for the Arizona Cardinals and eventually joining the Cleveland Browns, the San Diego Chargers, and then the Carolina Panthers, where he played in Super Bowl 50.
As a show based around being bold, we know it probably took many bold moments throughout his life to achieve everything he has. He has played on the biggest sports stages, and he just so happens to be my cousin. So let's welcome in Fozzy Whittaker.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
We're so excited to have you here. So first question I'm going to ask you is, tell us a little bit about your early life and career, and when did you start playing football?
Yeah, as a young kid, I always looked up to my older brothers. I have 2 older brothers. And growing up in the Houston area, football was one of the mainstays and the staple of what you had to do if you wanted to be recognized on your street or in your area, your hood.
Right.
And since my brothers played football, both of those were my early role models. I wanted to be exactly like them. I wanted to do everything that they did. I wanted to be around them at all times and follow in the footsteps that they had created. At my age, I started off in flag football, but I didn't really know the difference because my brothers were playing tackle football at the time. So I went out to flag football tackling people thinking that's what I was supposed to do because that's what my older brothers did. And I quickly was reminded flag is for pulling it in non-contact. So that was my introduction into football, but it ultimately created an opportunity for me to learn the right way and continue down that profession, which ultimately became my job.
So looking back, what type of discipline did it take for you to get to the UT and then to the NFL? Did you notice that you were doing more than your teammates in high school or college, or was it mainly your natural talent?
I'm glad you bring that up. Discipline is the key word if you want to make it to any level of football past high school. And the thing that kind of set me apart from my teammates was what I was able to do in the off season, what I did when nobody was looking, and what I did even whenever my peers were around to become a leader on that football team. And the discipline might have been, there was a house party that some of the kids wanted to have. And it was for me, did I want to go party on Friday night knowing I had maybe a track meet on Saturday morning, or maybe I had training the next morning? Did I want to try to sacrifice what that training moment or what that opportunity was for me to get better, to experience what some of my peers and friends would have just enjoying a Friday night house party? I mean, I had to make those choices.
Yeah.
Now, I did go to some house parties, don't get it twisted. I had fun and I enjoyed myself in high school.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew what my main mission and my main goal was.
Yeah.
And I was prepared to sacrifice certain things that were in that moment only temporary so that I can get to the end result that I wanted. And the discipline that was there was instilled in me from my mother to be able to say, if you want it, you got to go get it. You need to be the hardest worker. You need to do it 100%. And you need to showcase that every single day. The consistency was the key in that. And so it created a rigorous discipline routine that I was able to follow, which at the end of the day didn't become rigorous because now it was just the normal way that I process my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
makes a lot
good.
of sense. Yeah. So tell us about one healthy habit you built that actually stuck, and why do you think it worked for you?
Yeah, a healthy habit for me, I still struggle with it today, is making sure I'm mindful of the amount of sweets that I intake. I am a strawberry milkshake fiend.
I love
Like,
strawberries.
Me too.
all the way. I will go travel any and everywhere to try a strawberry milkshake and compare it with all the previous strawberry milkshakes that
Yeah.
I've had prior. And if I didn't have some of the discipline or the accountability, I'd drink a milkshake every single night if I could.
Real.
Yeah.
And it would cost me a lot of money too because it's not free to have strawberry milkshakes. But at the end of the day, the main goal that I wanted to achieve, whether it was playing football, now that I'm retired, it's now maintaining my physical health for my two kiddos at home and also the gym that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
I have to put guidelines in place and guardrails to say, okay, you can enjoy this in certain amounts. And then whenever it's time to enjoy it, don't overindulge. Don't do it to the point where I feel gluttonous.
Right.
And that's when I started to see, okay, some of the changes and some of the things and decisions that I've made in my life, it reflects directly back to my career in football of how bad do I want it?
Right.
What am I willing to sacrifice to make sure I achieve the goals that I'm chasing after?
Yeah.
And part of me and my health now as a 36-year-old man is making sure I'm available as long as possible for my kiddos. I got a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
My wife is 34. I got to keep up with her, right? So I got to make sure that I'm here for my family as long as possible. So now, I only enjoy milkshakes on the weekend. During the week, it's all about making sure I'm hydrated, making sure I'm getting my protein in, making sure I'm eating my lean meats. And then on the weekend, I can enjoy a milkshake or two. I can enjoy maybe a more fat and rich steak or something that allows me to still have fun and enjoy who I am, but at the same time, just be mindful of where I'm trying to get to in the long haul.
That's smart. I got to write that down.
I know. I'm turning 30 soon, so.
Soon is still half a decade away.
Right. And then what's a common misconception you think that people have about being healthy?
A common misperception that people I feel like have is that you always have to eat on a strict diet. And I also get this question at the gym a lot is, I'm not getting enough protein. How do I supplement protein?
Yeah.
So diet is the number one way to affect your body image, whether it's you want to feel healthier, you want to have more energy, you want to lose fat, you want to build muscle, you want to be stronger, whatever the case may be. A lot of it goes right into the foundational portion of your body composition and how your body is utilizing the fuel that you put into it.
Right.
And so a lot of people always think, oh, I got to go on a diet. I got to cut out red meat. Oh, I got to do this. I got to cut this out. In actuality, everybody's body is completely different.
Right.
You need a plan that's specialized for you to have success in whatever goal that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And once you're able to write up that plan, then you can start attacking it in the proper way to start seeing the results that you want to see. And those results typically happen within a timely manner. But after that, it's key to be disciplined and accountable in that, so that as the consistency becomes a routine for you, you're no longer second guessing, is this working for me, or do I have to continue doing this? The proof is in the pudding. The results will start showing, and then it's going to become a part of your daily life. So I would say making sure that you're doing the right things from a diet perspective, because so many people have a misconception of the thought process of what a diet actually is.
So our show is all about being bold. Is there a memorable moment in your life or your career that you consider to have been a bold moment for you?
Well, definitely open up a gym. The gym is called Burn Boot Camp in Cedar Park. It was a franchise that I was introduced to while I was playing in Charlotte for the Carolina Panthers. The owner and franchisor, him and his wife, Devin and Morgan Klein, were really good friends of mine and my wife, and they had mentioned to me, we're planning to scale this thing nationally, and we want you to be a part of it. And while I was still playing, my wife and I, we were like, oh, we like it. My wife actually took camps at Burn Boot Camp out in Charlotte, and she fell in love with it. We just couldn't find the time to actually make it work while I was still playing. And I get a chance to retire. My wife and I have a deep, serious conversation about it. And we say, hey, let's go for it. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to help other people achieve the goals that they want to see. I want to be a servant for the people. And we went head over heels into opening this gym, and it's been an amazing story. But it was very scary. It was one of the things that I have never done before. It's definitely a bold move on my aspect, because it wouldn't necessarily be called safe. If you look at the percentages of the number of startups and the number of new businesses, almost all of them fail within the first year. And so seeing those numbers, it created some uncertainty for me, because there were no guarantees that it was going to be successful. But I bought into what the culture of Burn Boot Camp was, and able to open it in 2022 was an awesome feeling. And I'm still training there now, even though we had to sell it because of my new role with ESPN as an analyst. I'm still there. I still have a presence there. I still see the people that help make the gym what it is, and continue to create the culture and the community that I wanted to see from the jump before we opened up the building and had those 4 walls established.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That's amazing.
For students watching who may not be athletes but want to feel healthier in 2026, what advice would you have to give to them?
Yeah, I would say it all starts with a mindset to begin with. Right? Number one, it's daunting to go into a gym sometimes if you hadn't been there or hadn't done it ever. And then number two, you start seeing all these people around you, and they're just like, hey, what are you doing? Right? And it can put a lot of pressure, to go to the gym or go work out or go run, whatever the case may be, your outlet to be able to live a healthier life. That pressure is always around. If you pull up social media, you're going to see so many different influencers and all these people that got the perfect body and all these things. And it's prevalent no matter where you are, no matter what phase of life that you're in. But ultimately, I would say it comes down to the mindset of just wanting to begin with, right? You already have to start with a win on the day. That win could be, hey, I woke up and I had an opportunity to go walk around my neighborhood this morning. Or I had an opportunity to take my dog to the park. And maybe you walk half a mile, maybe you walk a mile, maybe you walk 3 miles. That's still a win. That mindset of creating winning habits and winning culture will then continue to translate to, I went from half a mile to now I walked a mile, or I went from walking a mile to now I walked 3 miles. I went from walking 3 miles to now I jog on a weekly basis with a run group that I happened to find just last week. And now we run 3 miles a day.
Wow.
See, it can escalate that quickly, right? Just that fast. But it all starts with the mindset and the mentality just to say, hey, I want to go win today. Win the day. That's what one of my buddies, Jeremy Hill, says. He opened up a gym too. I played with him at the University of Texas. He's wisdom and a wizard with words. Win the day. And that win is just already committing in your mind that you want to do something towards being healthy. And if you can create that mindset, you already won that day. Now let's move on to the next.
That's good.
Yes, I love it. So, Fozzy, what's next for you? Any career goals you may have your sights on, or how can people follow your journey?
Yeah, so I'm currently with ESPN. I call football games. This past season, I was closely linked to calling SEC football games for the SEC network, which is underneath the ESPN umbrella. My goal is to continue doing that again next year, but as I continue to progress down the broadcasting world and being in a football analyst role, I want to continue to call larger and bigger games, and hopefully one day I get a chance to call playoff games. I mean, eventually the national championship, and have an opportunity to be on a show regularly with ESPN talking about what I'm very passionate about, which is football, and college football in particular. But I also love sports of all kinds. I'm involved with ESPN covering softball, baseball, basketball, women's and men's. It doesn't matter. You put a sport out there, I want to be knowledgeable and I want to be able to talk about it convincingly. And that's ultimately where my main goal is as I continue to progress through this journey as a broadcaster and an ESPN employee.
That's good.
I love it.
Well, that's all the questions that we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us, Fozzy. And we are so happy that we had such a great conversation with you, getting to chat with you, learn more about you, learn more about strawberry milkshakes. And we're just so excited that we had you today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you all having me on. Hopefully I didn't bore anybody.
No.
But I had a blast, so thank you all.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Fozzy was just amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And it's so awesome listening to someone who will give you their motivation, their tips and their tricks to leading a healthy lifestyle in the future.
Yeah, I mean, and it also helps when someone gives you a leg up, showing you ways to get ahead in the future and change your habits in everyday life, you know? And what better way to gain that insight than from a professional athlete?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, literally the elite of elite, talking about NFL. As humans, we are made to adapt and change as time goes by. And who knows what the future may hold for us. So why don't we just tackle the things that we do have control over?
Exactly. Day by day, I think some positive insight we should be shining some light on is, although it's very important to take care of yourself mentally and physically, it's very important to also give yourself grace and not push yourself to the point of breaking.
Right.
You know, healthy living does not have to be so intense. Keep it simple, short walks, stay hydrated, be intentional about what you eat, even if you resort to fast food. Another thing, what works for you might not work for another person, and that is okay. The goal is not to follow every trend or copy someone else's routine, but to listen to your body and learn what it needs, likes, and build habits that are realistic and sustainable for you.
Right. Remember that you are not alone. Everyone struggles with finding out what works for their life and personality type when it comes to health and fitness.
Exactly. Health and fitness is a good thing. Remember that. You are treating your body and mind well, and that does not carry a price tag.
Exactly. Well, that sums up this entire episode of The Bold Way.
Thank you so much for everyone watching. We will see you next time.